course I miss you, Tommie. I always miss you.
Did you?
No.
Did anyone miss you? I often wonder Sorry, go on.
I'm like Zuckerberg. I'm like Zuckerberg at the end of that social media film where he's hitting F5. I'm going to Discord. I'm like, Tommie, write to me, Tommie.
I often wonder that when you're making an announcement, I'm leaving social media for a week. If you hadn't said anything, would anyone have noticed anyway? You know?
Yeah, no one knows. Absolutely,
you just kind of. The only real reason why I do it is because if I get private messages and stuff like that, and people think you're ignoring them and all that, and I don't like that. I don't like. So at least it gives me some sort of headspace. I've made some sort of notification of.
Close your DMs then. Is that what you do? Can you do that on Twitter? The only person who gave a shit about me finishing the the Atletico Spudland stuff was. One of the lads that I do fantasy football with. He's like, "Oh, what am I going to do now? Oh, where am I going to get in touch with you?" I'm like, "Yeah, this new account, man, it's fine." And he's like, he's the most atheist person. So like, he's obviously freaking out when he saw my new Twitter. I'm like, "What the fuck is happening?"
Oh yeah, so this. I meant to say this. David Halpin also said good luck to you and made a mention of it because I seen that.
Yeah.
He did.
David Halpin's sound. Yeah, what a great fella. He's lovely.
Omnisyn. So I meant to say this. Whenever you set it up or whatever, because I really should put your links in the show description because it's tremendously unfair. Do a podcast with someone for like a year and a half, and you go, we should have called it just, Tommie podcast, also Spud.
Well, yeah,
we should change it now. We should change it now and call it Spud, also Tommie.
No. Don't do that. It's far too much pressure for me.
Omnisyn.
What is it?
Yeah,
that's the word she gave me.
Right. Okay.
That's what it is. But it's funny because it's not one word, it's two words. And what's kind of weird about it as well is that Omni isn't... Okay,
hold
so
on,
Omni means...
Oh, you're always doing it. Who's this hurry you're on about for people who've just tuned in?
If this is your first time listening, I had a big mystical vision there in the middle of May. There's a podcast about it.
There's a great transcription of that podcast on Spud's website as well that I'll put in the show description. It's really weird reading the podcast or a written version of the podcast. It's very odd.
It is, yeah. Because we're just taking the piss out and having a great time talking with this
Western Irish accent.
Screen daters. So that's that thing. So I said to you during it, like, she gave me this word and you were like, don't say the word, don't say it. But I've told it to enough people now, 3 people, that it's okay, it's out now and I know what it means and all that kind of stuff. Well, I knew what it meant during the thing anyway.
Yeah.
But the word, it's quite weird because omni means everything, sin means together, so it's all together, everything is one. That kind of perennialist kind of thing,
Yeah. Synergy, essentially, isn't it? Like, or synchronicity, or anything.
But what's weird about it is that, like, you think the word omni, so it's like, okay, it's this kind of Greek or Latin prefix, but it's not very old. Omni is only like about 100 years old or something as a word.
Right.
Yeah. Right. So I thought that was
has it
strange.
Is epistemology? Is that the right word? Has it a history? It just arrives one day. Hello, I'm here. Yeah. I'm everything.
Well, I don't know. Maybe it goes back a bit further, but all I could find was that it's this kind of, can you call a 100-year-old word new? Probably you can. I am, and so I think it's new. But sin is older. Sin is togetherness. So this way, But sin, it's another kind of prefix. It's 2 prefixes to make a word, which is quite weird. But like during the thing when it happened, like I knew immediately what this meant. Like it was just.
So is it essentially? So everything all together? Is that a right?
We are one. Everything is together. We are one. That's the way I kind of see it.
Nice.
So. Yeah, that's what it means.
Did you? I was about to say something. No, you have to. I was about to say, did you immediately then get the .com version of it? And you'll have to do it now before this podcast comes back.
Before someone buys it, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Fuck's sake. Someone buy it for me. Buy it for me on these blockchain websites, which I have no fucking idea what they are at all. But I keep getting these ads.
I'll buy it for you and wait till you get really successful and then sell it to you.
I keep getting these ads on Facebook. Buy a blockchain website. I mean, don't even know what the fuck what? How does that work?
Is blockchain like is that like a Bitcoin? It's the same thing, isn't it? You just buy a blockchain and then you're rich. Isn't that what it is? Not how it goes.
No idea. Do you actually understand what a blockchain is? I don't.
Enough that I don't care. And like it's No, I don't. But it's like, I mean, someone explained it to me and I understood it at the time. And then the next day I just noticed that was no longer in my brain. You know what I mean? It's just,
that was incredibly boring. I'm going to forget about that conversation. Isn't it just a whole lot of computers talking to each other and making a thing, making nothing something? Does that make sense? Is that?
I think so. It's kind of like, it sounds suspicious like it eventually is just going to be used for the equivalent of whatever the next stage of torrenting is, you know, when it's like
it's kind of
when that's finally...
See, there's this big one at the minute. It's called a Shiba Inu. It's like they're taking on Dogecoin.
I don't know. I've heard both.
It looks like a mad fucking Ponzi scheme, man. It's very weird.
Have you been following any of that Wall Street bet stuff on Reddit at all? Because I mean, it's always come up. And, I don't. But it's so like it's and because it got banned, and then they set up different ones, and so you kind of see headlines, but it pops up. I don't read them because I don't understand it, and I don't. I'm just like can't be into everything. But like so many people have made so much money recently, like huge amounts of money, particularly around the GameStop stuff.
GameStop thing, and all that. Yeah.
But it essentially seems to be, from my very limited understanding, this is not financial advice in any way, that whatever rich, successful stockbrokers were doing, normal people started doing, and then there was uproar. And then, we have to change the law, or we have to do it. This is, and then the whole Robin Hood thing. Now, see, your man, his phone got taken off, and so he's like, you bad boy, give me your phone.
Weren't Robin Hood last week or something had to pay $70 million?
But it's like someone saying, right, you did something terrible, give me 20 quid, you prick. And here's 20 quid, thanks. I'll take this 3 billion I also made and feel bad about myself.
The GameStop thing was to do with shorting, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Shorting is a strange... I don't understand how that's allowed. I just don't. What?
Yeah,
I'm going to buy this stock and then sell it back to you for cheaper. Yeah, well, I'm still making money. Okay. And I'm making money? Yeah, okay. What? Okay,
sure,
everyone makes money.
Okay, so like half the things that people actually get stock in aren't actual companies and all that. That it's essentially gambling, only for, I don't know, has a better sheen or veneer than going to the bookies and putting money on football or something. But it's the same.
I think the way to go though is if I had spare money, I think I'd be doing indices rather than investing in, say, a Bitcoin or Ethereum or any of them. Just being something that says, right, this has whatever, 20% in this, 10% in that, 10% in that, and then put in your money and it'll make whatever, 20, 30% over a year, and then just compound it then, and by the time you're 80, you'll have some money. Just don't fucking touch it, you know what I mean? It's just, put like 100 quid in every, or whatever, 50 euros in every month kind of thing.
Richest Man in Babylon, that's essentially that. Give a read that.
Is it?
Yeah.
No.
Well, not particularly that exact financial advice, but it's the compound interest thing of putting around. Steve I always put 10% away of his every earning he ever did, and I've started doing that a while ago. This is with the goal. Steve I had a lot more earning power than I do, in fairness. So his goal's a bit loftier than mine. With his goal that he would eventually live off that, the interest of that, or the return of that. So that it was kind of, and he says, no matter what, he put that money in. It's the same, but like you can get into a habit of it easy because as soon as money comes in, I have to put money away for percentage away for tax, and so just put it all away, and so it's just it's as if you never see it. Yeah, it's also like the kind of thing you. Well, if I knew a bit more, I could probably be putting it somewhere that it's making money rather than just sitting in an account somewhere, earning bank charges.
No, that's not a good way of doing it because of deflation. You're losing money every year kind of thing. No, talk to your accountant and say, here, what should I do with this? He'll know.
Yeah. I've only started doing it this year, so I mean, I'll talk to the accountant. It didn't make sense.
No, whatever, But there's loads of stuff. Like, it's not just crypto indices. There's millions and millions of different of these indices. You can put some money in. Some of them are, it's in for 5 years. You're guaranteed 5%, or there's some that's, they're in for 30 years and you're guaranteed whatever. Well, maybe
the Irish the kind of equivalent. Remember, if you put in money in a thing. My only thing is because my income is so sporadic that I can't set up for that because sometimes I do not have the money for it. You know what I mean? And that kind of rules out. If you have to put 100 quid in or 1 million quid in or 450 in a month, sometimes I can't. So,
So look, fucking singing to the choir, man. Fucking freelancer here. I know all about it.
It's just all about just trying to, I remember Stuart Wilson says, you don't worry about 3 months, don't worry about a year, just worry about the next 24 hours. And go, that's really good, yeah. But sometimes when you're a freelancer, you have to worry about the next 3 months.
That's the thing. That's the thing about this whole, like this film we'll talk about later, like just, living in the moment. All we have is the now, is the now, is the now. Yeah, cool, but like, my kids are going to want to go to college, so how's that going to help? Oh, cool. Dad is all enlightened, but like, what?
because college isn't real, man. Come on, nothing's real.
Yeah.
No, we shall get to that, I'll tell you. I got a lovely thing in the post. Remember a couple of podcasts ago, we answered a load of questions from a guy who...
in Australia, yeah?
No, not Australia, he's American. Yeah, I'll call him T because I don't think he wants to have his name. But he was very happy that we did.
Christensen.
That's actually his name. Stop.
Exactly, I know. That's why I said it.
So he was delighted, and he was just blah blah. But recently there was some sort of thing astrology-wise where conjunctions, those things that happened, and as a thank you, he took part of that time, which was quite seen as a benefic, and made a little, which I can show you. He made me like a totem thing. Can you see it?
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
That's
and
nice.
Which the intentions of
who's the dude? Who's the figure in it?
Well, I assume it's Mercury because he's the Caduceus and the arrow, but it could be
okay, yeah.
It could be. I could be wrong in that, but that's what I'm suspecting. So, to describe
Mercury.
it's just basically it's like a black and white drawing on black paper with loads of sigils in gold pen. So it's really nice. And here's the thing. Well, what it is for Tommie Kelly's perfect health, Tommie Kelly's perfect communication, Tommie Kelly's life-changing increase in earning power through media, and then as the shoal, or what do you call it, the Robofish, dogs bark in Wexford today, which I thought was very nice.
Dogs bark in Wexford every day. Yeah. That's a reference to me shouting, isn't it? Doggy.
Must be, maybe so.
Angry dog, yeah. So I'm basically the angry dog. Ruff, ruff, ruff.
And if you get a UV light, which I don't have, there's a thing on it as well. So I thought that was super cool. We got other stuff before, the different Morgan sent us stuff. Did you ever you got that in the end that went missing for yours as well? The candle, the incense, and that thing. That was really good. I really enjoyed that. The talisman as well. Yeah, it was really cool.
Send more stuff.
Well, here's the thing. I was thinking about this. It's just, if you're in the kind of, and people can do good magic for you and stuff like that, then you have to allow for people doing bad magic on you. So, and then you get into a whole thing. So we accept only good magic, and all bad magic will be sent threefold back to you in a return to sender envelope, astrally carried by a pigeon called Death.
Morrigan. Yeah, Death Morrigan.
Death Morrigan. So,
that's cool.
Yeah, I also, in other news, I finished the new album last night, which I'm delighted with.
Oh, very good.
Well, that's a lie. I have one final. I was listening to it in the headphones. I was like, it's really great, but there's one bit in it where there's one bit too loud, and I go, yeah, I know it's a pain in the hole to go to, but do it because then you won't spend next time in a year you listen back to it, whatever. So yeah, that's just be it. On Patreon today or tomorrow. I'm hoping today.
What's happening then with that? Just put it out on Spotify, like?
Yeah, Bandcamp, all the usual places. I'm going to make a couple of videos, put it on YouTube or whatever. It's not. It's like I don't expect anything from it at all. Other than it's one of those things where it wouldn't leave me alone until I got finished. It was like bugging me, and it was like, if you want to get super woo about it, it was like, this is an idea had decided, right, I'm arriving through you, and that's it. Or I couldn't. I had to finish it, and it was kind of I'm glad now because it was sapping a bit. Not sapping my energy. That's not what I mean. It was preoccupying. Intruding a wee bit. Yeah, but not. And like I enjoyed it. It was great, brilliant, a wonderful experience, and I'm really happy with how it came out and all that. It's called Ritualis, and it's essentially an idea of doing a magic ritual in audio form. So it's kind of like a hypersigil of a comic, but I really dislike the word hypersigil these days. It's kind of, I suppose it's once everyone starts doing it, Yeah,
everything is a fucking hypersigil now, isn't it?
Literally, this podcast is, it's a hypersigil. Zoom in general, it's all not whatever. But it's kind of, so it has all the elements of it. Starts with banishing and a call. There's an actual ritual thing. There's the response. There's the whole thing, and it ends again with
so what's the overall ritual of it? Like an Abramelin type thing, or
it's let me see. What would the overall, without giving away, in the Chris Noel sense, it's getting their attention.
Wait. So let me ask you another question. Then. Is it up to the listener? What it is?
It can be, absolutely, if you want, yeah, absolutely. Okay. My intention behind it is, in the sense of it, it's not like a servitor. It's not like something like that. It's not like an underhanded way of trying to sneak magic into your house or something like that. It's a piece of music. It's instrumental music. And it's almost like you could see it as a soundtrack to a movie that doesn't exist, but it's not quite that either, because soundtrack is a very different, its own set of rules and stuff like that. But I had a very definite intention of trying to invoke something or evoke something. That's the best I can.
So musical theurgy.
Yeah. And in getting their attention, whatever that means to you, not roil you, not necessarily you, or getting.
Cool, good. No, come on, when I mentioned that's the book I was reading. Yeah, the living.
Yeah. I seen you put that up. That looks really interesting. How'd you come across that? Because I don't think I know his name, do I?
So the first thing is he has a very funny name, Jeffrey Cooperman. Because Koopa means poo in Poland.
All right. Jeffrey Cooperman. Cooperman.
So I shouldn't make fun of him. But over here, in all the Mario games are hilarious for people because Koopa Troopers. They're like the poo soldiers,
right.
King Koopa, King Poo. It's hilarious, and it's a nice word for poo. It's not like It's not a bad word for poo. It's the word that kids say. Like when Americans say poop. Poop's a funny one. Nobody says poop.
Living Theurgy, is that what it is for
Living
people?
Theurgy, yeah. Jeffrey Cooperman, K-U-P-P-E-R.
Jeffrey Dahmer's book. Living.
Jeffrey Dahmer's book. So it's the old wouldn't that be the old Germanic way of spelling? Because like Cooper, the barrel man, isn't it? They make barrels, beer barrels. Cooper. Anyway, so
just like that.
Yeah, geez, man, it's a tough read. So it is. The philosophy of the Neoplatonists is complicated, to say the least. I thought it was just right. There's a demiurge. There's the gods. They're all the same thing, and it's grand, but it's not. It's not like that at all.
Yeah, my knowledge of Platonism and Neoplatonism is ridiculous. It's essentially New Age Neoplatonism as well, really, as far as mine goes. Because I'm sure it's
good though. The Theurgy stuff, I wasn't. I've always kind of seen it as
Theurgy is essentially God bothering, right? Am I right in that it's
no? This is where this is my big takeaway from this was that. So yeah, Theurgy. Exactly what you said there. I thought Theurgy was knocking on God's door saying, "Oi, want to chat?" Right? Which is it's upside down. So this is like the Golden Dawn version of it that we know. Telema, yada yada yada. All right, all that kind of stuff, right? But actually, for the Neoplatonists, Theurgy was becoming God.
Oh, right, okay.
Yeah, so you're not calling him down; you're raising yourself up to them.
Okay.
And there's and you can see the things along the way as a stepping stone. So your personal daemon, your HGA, that's the thing that will open the door to the rest of them. And then it's kind of up to you then, or up to whoever's above that you will resonate with. So be it I don't know, Athena or Zeus or whoever, whatever it is.
Yeah.
You know, and then they resonate, and then there's the demiurges gets fucking a bit complicated. So it's basically. Basically, there's three demiurges.
Of course.
But they're all kind of one, but they kind of rule over and make different parts of the bits that are lower down. You get me?
Yeah.
So one is responsible for the material world. One is responsible for the non-material. Yeah. And then above all that, then is the big cheese.
Yeah.
You know who goes by three names as well: Aeon, Paradigm, and One.
Bottom.
Yeah, it's a bit complicated. I've done my best there, and I might have got something. I don't think I got anything wrong with it. I've done my best. So
it's interesting the three tier thing because it's coming off a lot since I don't know if you remember in the video was mentioned about like the kind of the first vision that I can remember having properly is the one when I was reading the Alan Watts book, and it was seeing a three-tiered thing where the density changed each time, and it's kind of that has like since then, but also because I'm noticing it, like it's probably always been around, but that seems to be coming up as something that, because I just kind of thought at the time and over the years, oh, that was an interesting experience, but wasn't pointing to anything, and go, oh, hold on, maybe it is pointing to something, because they're even in the three-tiered kind of thing, but who knows? But,
could be, yeah. I like these lads. These lads, I like their version of the demiurge a lot better than the Gnostic version of it, because in the Neoplatonists, it's like it's a benevolent thing who wants the best for us, wants the best for us, whereas the Gnostic demiurge is just
total malevolence.
Depends which one. Well, depends. There's a few different ones for the different sects as well. One of them is like just horrible and just wants strife for us all the time. Well, another one is just a bit like, what's the best way of saying it? He's a bit
ignorant,
disabled or something.
Or
ignorant. He just messes things up because he doesn't know what he's doing.
Yeah, he thinks he's the real God and he isn't. That's the
because they have this thing of Sophia where Sophia, what is it? God made Sophia, and then Sophia tried to make something, but she couldn't get it right because she's not the full God. Yeah. But that's only one.
Since ancient Greece, blame the women.
But that's only one version of it. In other versions of Gnosticism, Sophia didn't make a baddie; she made a goodie. It's weird, Gnosticism. There's so many different versions of it that can be. There's an overall thing to Gnosticism for sure, but within Gnosticism there's different sects and different weirds. I was reading about the Manichaeans. You ever hear about them?
I know very little about.
Jesus, that's mad. That was the biggest religion. That was the third biggest religion for like 700 or 800 years.
Kingsley
and
was
no
on
one
about
has
him
a
a
clue
bit.
about it.
Yeah, he mentions him a bit in
fierce interesting stuff.
The notes of Catafalque. Not really in the
Yeah. Fierce interesting.
And Alan Chapman talks about him in Teresa did. So he
basically was this kind of prophet who.
He's a Muslim, Islamic, am I right? Sufi, possibly, is it?
No, that's not that it turned into that, but
a precursor to it.
No, a lot of that was used by Sufis, but then some of it was just completely rejected, and it was put down by them at the same time, right? But it was kind of like, so Mani was like big into Jesus and big into Buddha, and
what era is he? What years are we speaking?
Not that long after Jesus. I think it's only about 200 or 300 years after Jesus.
Okay. Yeah.
So he brought these. He's like a perennialist kind of thing.
Right. So he's previous to Muhammad then, right? Okay, I thought he was after.
Yeah. And he just brought the previous teachings of the world, Zoroastrianism as well.
Yeah.
Brought them all together and just said, yeah, look, we can use all these things and have a cool religion. And he found favor in one of the big kingly fucking courts, because there was this guy trying to take over like that part of Asia, and he was saying, right, well, if I take over all of Asia, I'll unite the empire with this religion that unites different faiths anyway. So it was the perfect storm. These two things came together. There was this perfect storm. And then it just spread like wildfire, reached as far as like Spain from there, and as far to China in the other direction. And if you look it up, it's a pretty, on the surface, it's just a really cool and kind of nice religion. It's like, okay, everyone's cool, everyone's nice. But
there's something dark and horrible in the middle of it, is it?
All love and happiness and caring for each other. But then it gets weird. It has a lot of these, it has stuff with the archons and the light. You're trapping the light inside, and like, we shouldn't be having sex because that traps the light, whereas the light should be free. And then there's this thing where like there's a weird hierarchy, kind of like a caste thing as well, where like so say if you were like a priest or a bishop or whatever in the ranking, and I was just a normal Joe, I'm allowed kill and eat animals, but you're not. Sorry, are you allowed to eat them? I think you were allowed to eat them because you haven't killed them. But when I bring you the offering, when I bring you the food, because you're a bishop, you're like the Buddhists, you don't what am I trying to say? You don't grow anything, you don't kill anything.
All right, okay.
But you're given alms, okay? So I come to you and I give you the slab of beef and some grain or whatever, and you say, right, well, you're the sinner because you killed the cow and you killed the life in the.
Fucking ridiculous, man.
Get me right, and it goes more, man, and you kill the life force in the plants.
You're the
as
one
well.
sucking my cock. You're the sinner. You're the gay person.
But what he does is he forgives you. So he gives you the absolution.
Yeah.
He gives you the absolution, so then you're not a sinner anymore for taking the life because you've had to take it for higher things, kind of thing. But
Priests,
the Wikipedia page,
Priests.
Manichaeism,
Manichaeism, I think it is. Yeah.
Fucking, it's fascinating religion, and it's mad that it just kind of
He kind of got
petered out.
but there's some sort of kind of disgrace element of it. Not that necessarily, but it's kind of shunned or something. It's kind of like saying, "Oh, that's a bit weird" or something. And it was kind of a distaste or some sort of displeasure people have towards it. That it, which is why it's kind of purported that it kind of went out of favour. But I can't remember what it is. I can't remember.
Yeah, no, I don't remember.
And I could be conflating it with something else anyway. So
there's the hierarchy stuff that I think got too complicated for people. But like, I mean, its main message of like, you know, love, happiness, peace. It was this thing of, oh Jesus, someone had a good quote about it. It was like, what the fuck was it? The idea of this religion was something like to give as much personal enlightenment to people through knowledge as possible. There you are. It was something like that. So it was enlightenment through wisdom is this kind of idea of what was the idea, basic idea of the religion. Like,
right.
I'd sign up to that.
Yeah. And, I'm all for someone doing everything for me and me forgiving them. Yeah, let's sign me up.
No, look it up. Interesting. Really interesting religion. Did you hear about the anti-gay horses? Did you see this on Reddit?
No, but of course there's anti-gay horses. Of course that's a thing. Of course.
Sorry. They're not anti-gay. They're anti. What does Dave Chappelle call them? The letter people. Anti-letter people.
All right. LGBTQ plus.
Yeah.
Whatever it is.
So, and there's these police horses in England, and obviously the police are on them, and they're just gorgeous horses. They're fucking, you know, those big old, you know, that Belgian breed or something like that. They're these huge horses for
hairy legs
for pulling plows. Hairy legs, big arses, just huge, muscly arses. So they're giants, like police patrol on these two horses, and they're coming up to a speed ramp, and the speed ramp has been painted the rainbow colours, and the horses don't like it. The horses are like, no,
bigger than horses.
And there's someone there with the video camera going, ooh, what have I got here, you know? And the fucking guard, the police, is trying to kick the horse to go on it, and one of them just goes around. He's like, fuck that shit, I'm not fucking touching that. And then the other one goes across like very sheepishly, but like, yeah, it's funny, but it's like, it's because horses see colour differently.
Horses don't like change. That wasn't what it was like yesterday. I'm not into this.
That's very true. They don't. But no, it's to do with the way horses see colour. I think they're as colourblind as dogs, or else they're between dogs and us, something like that. So when they would see all these lines, it just looks like shit. There's holes in the ground.
Oh, right.
You know?
Okay, yeah.
So or would it look like, you know, in Irish farms they have this at the entrance of the fields they have these iron bars in the ground to trap the cows if they try and fucking escape. That's probably what they saw. They saw these lines on the ground and went,
yeah, I'm not touching that. Yeah.
Fucking 3D, 7D, 64. I'm going to fall into the abyss. Not ready.
I can see the entire hologram of the universe of consciousness unfolding in on itself. I go, no, no thanks.
Matthew McConaughey is picking a book out of the library and looking at the clock. The horse is going, I haven't read enough Crowley. No, I'm not ready.
We are
Quran's on. No!
So I'm sure that's what Twitter's take was on it. And it didn't explode.
It's funny. One of these things I read that had like 100,000 fucking upvotes or something.
Right,
it is funny
to
see these horses freaking out about these rainbow colours. So yeah, horses don't like rainbow colours. That's all it was. Don't read any more into it. It's just because they can't see colours like the rest of us, you know. And we can't see colours. What's that animal? The shrimp. There's some mad shrimp that can see 64 times more colours or something than we can. Oh, it's this kick-ass killer shrimp.
Killer shrimp.
Really dangerous. He has like
Wes Craven's killer shrimp.
Oh, what the hell is he called? Is it a mantis
Frank.
shrimp or something? I think he has like eight. The way like okay, so we look out, we can see one thing from two eyes, yeah. So he's able to see like 8 different perspectives or something mad that in all these mega different colors. So he just sits on the ocean floor and just waits for the slightest movement in his fucking spectrum of full vision color.
It's so interesting that like is it bees or flies? It's bees, I think. And you have see time differently because the more frames per second, and so your eyesight. So like say we've 24, which we don't.
Hey, there was something done recently about something that proved they can perceive time as a 24-hour thing, which is like
they'll come back at the same time or something. Is it each day or something?
Yeah, they did that, right? And then they thought, okay, this is weird. So they did it in a few different places in kind of the same country.
And then the dude brought them to London and they got jet lagged.
Yeah, they brought them to New York or London or something like that. And they still showed up at the same time that they were supposed to show up in wherever it was, Germany.
I heard that. Actually, maybe you said it before, but I heard that recently. That's insane, isn't it? Like, that's mad.
It's mad, isn't it? Well, I mean, obviously they see time as 24 hours because that's the way we live. It's a daily cycle. Obviously, we all.
Well, it's 23 something, isn't it? We you know
what I mean. No, but like sun up, sun down, whatever. They obviously perceive time like that. But the fact that they do it in the hours, that's bizarre. That's crazy. Yeah. That's fair play. They're dead.
And dogs like to face north in the shit. I mean, Jesus Christ, what's that about?
Yeah, how many times have you stood there looking for the compass on your phone as quickly as you can? Wait! Is he doing it? Is he doing it?
My dogs definitely shit facing north more than they do any other way. It's so weird. It's so strange. It's like doing a daily Star Ruby or something in doggy version. Star Third. This is a Carry on! No,
there's another thing he says in that book about banishing rituals and all. So he gets into the end of the book, he starts talking about rituals that you can do.
It's living
Theurgy. And he says that banishing rituals in Neoplatonism, they're not really needed because by doing the ritual, you're going up the stairs anyway to meet the big cheese. So you don't by even doing that, you're expelling the bad parts.
Yeah, but you have to come back down, right? As a brighter, lighter, more astral being that might attract the naughty boys towards you. That's the.
Well, I don't know. Well, according to this fella, no.
Yeah.
According to this fella, no.
Well, that's kind of the light, the light or the darkness gathers around the light. All that stuff, that's why. That's the kind of thing that's said about doing stuff like the lesser banishing ritual of the pentagram, that it lights up you in the astral plane, so you're seen. It's like the the three body problem. The whole reason why we haven't got in contact with aliens. The reason for that, I can't tell you because it spoils the third book. But it's that. It's kind of the third or the three body problem. That really big Chinese sci-fi book. It's very good.
I'm not going to read this. Tell me, I'm not going to read it.
There's other people who listen to this podcast. But
that'll be fine.
Well, right. The idea is that.
Blame me.
That the reason why they're aliens don't contact or don't have them shine up.
Wait, now, how old is the book?
It's been about to be made into a TV show, so I mean, maybe I shouldn't say it. I'll tell you offering. I'll tell you in a roundabout way. If you light yourself up in the astral plane, people notice you. That's the thing. So that even if you do go up to the big cheese and come down pure or whatever, you're back to the dense, physical, gross thing.
For sure.
Only now you're more easily seen as something that's attractive. That's the kind of the counter to that. But it all depends on what you believe. All of this is.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. It's I liked it. It's Neoplatonism. It seems like a good way to go.
I'd like to watch it like a 6-part BBC documentary series on it more than read it. That I think would be a good kind of.
It took forever to fucking read. It's not even that long. It's only 300 pages, less than 300 pages. It took me forever to get through it because it's just dense with philosophers and Greek words and that you
Is
just
it one of
don't
those ones?
understand.
You just have to now. I have to go read 6 books before I can come back to this paragraph to understand who this dude is.
No, to be honest, because I think it's
Excuse
kind of no. Well, it is aimed as like right, this is a primer for getting into it a bit more, you know. But it mostly focuses on one of the Neoplatonists, Imblicus. Is that how you say his name?
Sure.
Imblichus.
Oh, that's pronounced Frank.
Imblicus. Imblicus. I have no idea. It's mostly on his stuff because he is the kind of guy who he's one of the later Neoplatonists, and he's one of the ones who done the most kind of work into the ritual side of it and into explaining further into like the gods and the demiurges and all this kind of stuff. Whereas what kind of came before him were like, yeah, well, that's the demiurge. We know what that is. Because they just knew. Where he's no, wait, we need to explain this a bit further. You know what I mean?
Let's define what real is.
Yeah.
Tell me this. Is Aristotle the first Neoplatonist? Is that essentially where Neoplatonism starts, literally after Plato? Or is it a must?
No, he says in this it'd be... who was first? Because they were so influenced by the triangle guy. Escapes me. Pythagoras. Because they I can't think of it. Because they were so influenced by Pythagoras, and then Plato was so influenced by Parmenides. They're the ones you can look to first.
Okay.
You know? Because a lot of it comes from it. Like even there's one part where he was saying that to look up the oh Jesus, what's it called? I think it's the rites of Pythagoras or something like that. It's this kind of prayer, you know. So I looked it up and it's like it's so bloody similar to everything else. That's just that this perennial idea of all is one. Everything is one. All we have is the moment. It's just like this guy had this way back then.
Yeah, but that's because they all died when they were 25. Come on, I know that's a lie. That's not true. They didn't.
I don't know. I
drank a hemlock on a Friday night, just like Logan from when he got to 30.
Let's go to the cave. Woo!
Yeah. It's just I know what Kingsley had told me about ancient Greek. That's probably about it. Like, I mean, I never really got too much. I know a bit of Plato in the pop psychology stuff that everyone does, but I did try to read some Plato there not long ago, and it's kind of like reading Shakespeare. You go, can I read a book about this, please?
No, it's like, you're better off reading a book about. That's good. Like, if you want to learn more about the Neoplatonism, I think it's a good way of looking at the world. You know, because and it's so much of it. So much of Neoplatonism played into Gnosticism, which also went into the Christian church. Well, it's Christian anyway. I mean, the Catholic Church. What am I trying to? The European Church, we'll say. So you have the Orthodox and the Catholic stuff, kind of thing. You know, which is like, it's fun.
And people say the West have no spiritual tradition, huh? People say it. Crazy. Wouldn't really agree with that. Stuff like this just is like, definitely does. Like, you know, but whatever. Yeah, there's stuff in it about Aeon as well. Because like when we were doing the conjunction thing, Aeon, whatever. John, I call him. We're mates now. Yeah.
He because we're doing the thing, and like even though I'd read the Baptist or the Baptist head, the Tempe stuff and the Magia stuff, I'm like, I have a fucking clue who this guy is. Doesn't matter, whatever. It's for shits and giggles. And then you read this and you're like, oh, okay, no, he's important. Like, he's really important. Okay, cool. All right, yeah. Sorry, Jesus, I feel bad now for kind of wasting his time. It's mad. He's this thing that's like, he's the one, but it's like one part of the one, and he's outside of time and space and just rules this. They call it the noetic realm. So it's just this. I don't know what the fuck it is because you can't even explain it. It's just out of time and space. I'm like, I'm done. I don't know what that means. What is that? He lives in a vacuum. Aeon lives in your Hoover.
There's a really interesting that because they bring that up because that I recently this week came across a thing that explains it very well, and it's the first time I kind of really got a grasp of it. But the guy who explained it he's quite problematic, and in that he's definitely running a cult. And he's, I don't know, he comes from the kind of manifesting people. It's Bentinho, whatever his name is, Massaro. Bentinho.
What's the name?
Bentinho Massaro. BENTINHOMASSARO. You did send me stuff about him ages ago, and I was saying I used to be into him a long time ago when he kind of came out first, and I kind of put you off him, and then I went behind your back and started listening to him again.
But is he like Neville Goddard, Joseph Murphy?
Oh no,
he's like
a 31-year-old from Boulder. Oh well, he's Danish.
Oh, he's still around, like.
Yeah, he's like a young kind of infant terrible upstart. Almost YouTube superstar, but he's not because he's previous to YouTube. But let me see, his criticisms. There was a big, huge hit piece put out about him by I think it was on Medium, but it got taken down. But you can still find it online. But that it's definitely like it's very cultish, the type of stuff he does. He seems to be a bit of a megalomaniac. Blah 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 blah. I don't know. So kind of what that wasn't anyway why I went off him. I went off him because he got too much into the kind of kind of secret stuff, manifesting stuff, and it was all about making your best life and all of that. And I was going, that's grand. Not what I'm looking for though, but you're really good at it. Good for you. But his whole basis is he had an awakening, a non-dual realization when he's 11 or something like that, and comes to the whole kind of thing. But for whatever reason, I came across, and it was like a 6-part lecture series he did at the beginning of the COVID pandemic lockdown thing, and it's literally talking about the whole explaining non-dual and the bodies and stuff like that. But there's a whole section where he talks about that noetic space thing and explains it, and I was going, all right, now I understand. So for the first time, I definitely have a good understanding in my brain of the cosmology of a non-dual creation, whatever that kind of is. So I'll link that in the show description, and you can have a look yourself. Now, I'm not saying I have direct experience of it, but I understand what people are talking about when they're saying from that. He has a kind of a graph where he goes from, say, gross experience to that thing, whatever, which is past the when we talk about it in a minute in the documentary, the awareness, the moment. It's the thing after that. That's which is the noetic, unbounded time thing, the ion thing. So, but it's very good. But if you can get past him, you're right. You'll either, I don't think you'll ever warm to him, right? But he's like, has that kind of, I suppose, he looks a bit like one of the kids from Village of the Damned, and he's grown up. But it's interesting. He does the transmission stuff at the end of one of them, and I know like it's video and it's recorded different, but you can definitely get it from him. Like I think he's awakened from what I can see in the way I can see other people. That's the best I can put it that way. Given that I've never met the man and I've only seen him through videos, but I've only, other than Stuart Wilde, the only person, and I'm not even sure he was awakened. Anyone who I know is awakened, I've only interacted with it through a screen.
Yeah.
And I get the thing that you can see in them, I can see in him. So. But it's again. I mean, it's the Genpo Roshi thing. It's the fucking. It's it doesn't matter that they're that they're problematic. Probably not. I think if Jesus came now or whoever Buddha came now, they're all problematic.
Yeah, look,
because it's they're going against what the societal cultural story is by definition. So. Yeah,
just like. I think I've tried to define enlightenment a couple of times with you. Or we have tried to define it. When I was walking the dog there this morning and kind of connected with the film and what me and you were talking about yesterday. It's like, well, like, for some people, I'll just say it. Like, I think another possible definition of enlightenment is that you are happy in your own bones, you know and love yourself and have accepted yourself. That's surely one of them, Another one would be the transcending thing of seeing above problems and seeing that. But like the most basic of problems is to you have to like yourself.
Well, I think we'll get into the documentary because
we'll wait for that. We'll wait for that.
Will we do that now then? Yeah, 44 minutes, grand. Okay.
Yeah, let's do it. Yeah.
documentary is Chasing the Present. And this was recommended to me by YouTube, which is really weird because I usually, the Google Play stuff, that there's a line of Google Play on YouTube. It's usually all music that they sent me. So now where's the blurb? It's like a tenner to buy, or $2.99 to rent, or find, but it's definitely worth a tenner, I think. Anyway, so the Omnisynopsis.
Omnisyn.
A material successful young man riddled with anxiety embarks on a worldwide journey of self-inquiry, from the streets of New York to the stillness of the Ganges and deep into the jungles of Peru. He immerses himself in meditation, self-inquiry and plant medicine, whilst conversing with top experts like Russell Brand, Alex Gray, Graham Hancock, Joseph Goldstein, Rupert Spira, Sri Prem Baba, Zelda Hall, and more to find the root cause of the problem and learn how to finally find freedom from his crippling anxiety. I probably would have put those experts in a different order myself, personally.
I would have totally put them in the reverse order, yeah. Fucking Russell Brand.
Well, I suppose he's the biggest name, isn't he, that people would know if you're selling it to, like, my mum, rather than...
Yeah. Who did you say? Alex what? Alex Gray or Bray? Gray,
the artist, Alex Gray.
He's the guy who's... Oh, sorry. Who's the guy who sits cross-legged drinking the tea? What's he called?
Gary Weber. I have his book here.
Yeah. He's the book I want. Yeah, he's the book I have.
Yeah, that one there.
Yeah. It's on my wish list now. Has 165 books, I think.
I literally bought like a book out of every speaker in this documentary.
Yeah.
Right, where was I?
Hey,
he finds answers to why. Sorry.
Go ahead. Sorry.
He finds answers to why a person who seemingly has it all can continue to suffer from debilitating panic attacks, while recognizing the beauty and power that lies within each of us. If you're willing to go there, let your journey begin with chasing the present. So yeah, you were saying, sorry, your books, 106.
No. He was on it. I've come across him before, and I know Robert Spira as well. He's great. He's amazing.
Rupert Spira, yeah, he's brilliant. The first time I came across him was in...
It's not Robert?
No, it's Rupert.
It's Rupert.
Yeah.
Jesus, idiot, huh? The amount of videos I've seen with him, and I've never had to type in his name, huh? Isn't that mad?
Yeah, I think you were the first person to send me in one of those. I think it was like the history of the Archons or the Demiurge or something. He was in that.
Could have been. He's amazing anyway. He's just he's
really
like he has everything you need for the Western mind to get it. Do you know?
Yeah. And he explains it really well. He's very articulate. He has a really nice voice. He sounds like a cross between Graham Hancock and Rupert Sheldrake. And although that can
Hancock's in this too.
He is in that, yeah. And on the subtitling, it's really interesting because I use like open subtitles because I watch everything with subtitles because I have a 3-year-old who screams all the time. So I mostly read TV. The subtitler keeps mixing up Hancock and Spira. So obviously they're having problems with the voice too. But this is kind
of Sharon Shalsberg. She deserves a mention too. She's massive with her meditation stuff.
Yeah. Her and the other guy, Joseph Goldstein and Jack Cornfield, set up that insight meditation thing. That's essentially, I suppose, I don't want to speak, but that's one of the biggest kind of reasons why meditation took off in the States.
Right.
Or like an awful lot of stuff that you'll see came from that. An awful lot of lectures and stuff is all from that. And Joseph Goldstein is brilliant. He was the guy. I was telling you, I was listening to those audiobooks, the Buddhist ones, the 3 volumes that I sent you the screenshot of was listening when we were showing off what audiobooks we were listening to a couple of weeks ago. He's really, really good. Really, really good I'm surprised he didn't play a bigger part in this.
You see this doctor guy? No, he's not a doctor, is he?
No, he's the...
I'm thinking of someone else then. No, that's okay.
No, you're thinking of Matthew Watterson, the guy he was in the...
The guy from was it Boston University or Harvard or something, I don't remember. Doesn't matter anyway. Yeah, look, the cast in this is class. All of these speakers
and even all joking aside, Rupert Brand is actually really good in it. Like he turns up as his best self. He's not in it that much anyway, but it's like what he says fits in with everything. But he's not.
Yeah.
He's probably not in the caliber of the other guys, really.
No, he wouldn't have studied it as much.
Yeah,
but Russell Brand seems alright. But I know he's gone a bit.
It's strange at the minute.
At the minute, but.
Yeah. Or maybe he's always been that strange and he's just he doesn't care anymore and he's just talking about it. But he seems anyway. It's not about Russell Brand.
Yeah, it's not about Russell Brand.
Really, to get the nerdy stuff out of the way, this is immensely edited, color corrected, directed, and the cinematography is brilliant. I mean, it's the talking head stuff is so well shot, the interview stuff is so well shot, the B-rolls, everything's perfect about it in that sense.
Yeah, look, it's
so well made.
It's one of the most well-made docs we've probably done on this. It's so fucking slick.
Yeah, so slick. It's sound designed perfectly. You know what I mean? Like
Olaf Arnolds does the music, doesn't he? Does some of the music.
Some of it, yeah. Like it's interesting because I watched Olaf Arnold's new movie last night. It's really, really good. It's so he's definitely into magic. I don't give a shit. Like I know very little about him, but he's definitely into it. Like
Icelandic. Should they all have little houses in their gardens for?
If I can share it with, it's actually £3 if you buy it now on Google Play because it came out yesterday. But it's definitely worth watching. It's 25 minutes, and it's if you like his music, it's like Jesus Christ. How can you not?
But who wouldn't like his music?
I know.
Come on, there can't be a human who has listened to Olaf Arnold's son or Olaf Arnold's or Arnoldson?
Arnold's, yeah. I think it's Arnold's. Arnold's.
Yeah. I thought there can't be a human out there who has listened to it and not liked it. There can't be. It just doesn't make sense.
Yeah. Maybe they think it's boring. That's the only thing. Because if you know.
No,
where's the lyrics, man? Where's the beat? Anyway, yeah.
I provide it. You know me. I like music without words.
Yeah,
you know?
Some particularly Icelandic music without words. What more do you want?
Yeah, of course.
His movie's called When We Are Born, and it's really good. 10 out of 10. Totally recommend it. If you're into that, if you're not, probably not your thing. Don't watch it. Yeah. So I mean, you don't usually get this level of production in this type of documentary, and it's particularly you get more green screen stuff. With the shitty backgrounds behind the talking heads, or they're in their house, and the lights. Not great, but this is definitely brought all these guys to, or at least if not to locations, they've cleared out rooms and stuff. Particularly that one with Gary Webber, where they seem to be in a warehouse or something.
Loft in a warehouse.
That's a great shot. And it's just a table and someone stuck down a mat and great lighting and the whole thing. But literally no one is watching this documentary for the cinematography or the thing.
The talking head stuff is interesting the way to do it as well, because the protagonist James Sebastiano, he only talks to Gary Webber. He talks to what's the cool Brazilian guy, Prem Baba. Yeah. I'd never heard of him. What a legend!
Yeah,
he's cool. Deadly. Yeah. He's like I love this guy because he's so Brazilian. He's just like. They're the horniest people on the planet. I fucking love them. And just every second sentence he comes out sexuality. He has to get sex into everything, and he's just like what a lad. I love him. He's great and full of fucking great wisdom as well. But anyway, so James only talks to Gary Webber, Prem Baba, his dad, and. I think that's it. All of the other people.
Zelda Hall, the kind of therapist woman.
Therapist from Northern Ireland, yeah. He doesn't. Any of the other talking heads, it's the director or someone has the questions prepared or whatever. But he's not. I thought that was.
He talks to Alex Gray because remember he's walking down the kind of.
Alex Gray at the end of it after the thing, yeah. Okay. Yeah. But I thought that was an interesting way of doing it because sometimes when you have the protagonist talking to the talking heads, it can get a bit kiss-assy, you know?
Yeah.
So that was a really smart way of doing it. I don't know if they did it on purpose like that or if it's just the way it happened. He couldn't meet the people or whatever. But it worked out really, really well.
Yeah, it worked out. Or whether it was like, we'll start this way and then we'll go in different, or a B team or something like that. But yeah, with the editing thing, there's a thing that pulls me out of stuff, and I find it's like, when he's talking to Prem Baba, and it's obviously he asked the questions in English and the answers in Portuguese. Yeah. And he's nodding. And you're kind of going, do you know what he's saying?
Yeah, why nodding?
Do you actually know what he's saying? But then
there's bits, Brazilian Portuguese.
Yeah, but then there's bits where you kind of go, well, he's laughing in the right place. So I mean, maybe he does. And it's obviously the Prem Baba understands enough English to answer the question. But it was kind of, But it took me a minute to go, stop thinking about that and actually just listen to what he's saying.
Read what Prem Baba's saying.
Yeah, how did you set this up? How was that? Just read the glorious information about non-duality.
I love the bit when he has this kind of realization. He's like, oh wait, so suffering is an illusion, and Prem Baba just goes, yes,
yeah.
You got it. You're there. You got it. You know. And he's fucking yeah. It's great.
Then in the Gary Weber thing, he goes, well, it's more fundamental than that. It's not that suffering is illusion. The person who is suffering is the illusion. You know, so it's kind of
the Gary Weber stuff is great. I gotta get that book
really
now.
good. I'm really excited about that, and it's kind of. I says no. I'll read the Rupert Spire one because I'm kind of a bit that other. I posted a podcast. I sent it to you first, and then I sent it on the Discord where he does it with Kurt.
5 hours or something.
Kurt, I can't pronounce his second name. I'm not going to attempt. But Jesus Christ, there's some amazing guests on that channel.
Yeah, amazing guests. Jesus Christ, Noam Chomsky turns up every 3 months. Like fucking hell, I'm listening to that.
His first guest is Noam Chomsky. So like this is where he starts. But I think he's because he seems to make documentaries, so maybe his connections from that it's not just he started a YouTube channel. Yeah, so I still haven't finished that because I'm just kind of listen to it and go, right, okay, I need to have a think. You know what I mean? I'm not even doing my 1.5 or my 2 speed or anything. I'm just doing because your man is so good in kind of not calling people on the bullshit. That's wrong because he's not calling people on bullshit. He's so good going, hold on, that doesn't actually make sense. Can you explain that in a different way? Or how do you do? How explain that to me?
Fucking sign of a great interviewer, man, is to get some information out of someone. To get extra information out of someone, because so many times people are used to giving the same or similar answers, you know? Yeah. So it's up to you to get going. And you could see, like, Jesus Christ, that fucking Peterson Vervaeke thing, capsule car crash of an interview.
Car crash, man.
Awful. You know, like...
on Peterson's
Chomsky,
fault.
Right, Chomsky said something... where did I see it? Some fucking quote of Chomsky's not that long ago. And he said something like, if you're teaching the same thing you were 5 years ago, it means your industry is dead or you are. You know?
Or you're teaching history, I suppose. fucking
show that to Jordan Peterson, all right? Because there's nothing new coming from him. And his interviews now are... About
him. That's all his interviews are about. Like, essentially about him and his... I don't know. Him being. You
see as well, like he puts out little clips on YouTube of the interviews, right? And it's just the guest nodding to what Peterson says. Like, that is not the idea of an interview podcast. No. Why are you even interviewing these people if you just don't talk to yourself?
Or just have it. I'd call it conversations or something, or I speak at John Vervaeke for 40 minutes. Yeah. Like Tim Freak does the same, but he's up front where he's going. He's going like, these aren't interviews. I'm not interviewing. I want to, chat with these, but I'm as much part of this, as they are. It's not me doing it, and like that's still, you kind of go, it just doesn't feel right either. There's something, but at least he's going, no, well, at least I'm not even trying to interview. I want to bounce my ideas off these people rather than.
Well, so I mean, look, this is the thing with like with Joe Rogan having gone mainstream a good few years ago, and everyone is just copying that style, like. Yeah. And. So hopefully it'll get back to doing proper interviews, because like Jesus, John Vervaeke is so fucking interesting.
So good.
And it could have been a great podcast, and instead it's just like, geez, there's one that starts off with like, this guy's Dr. Jordan Peterson of psychology, and he doesn't know the meaning of philosophia. What the fuck?
That's so weird, isn't it? Like,
embarrassing.
Like I was like going, I think.
How do you not know that?
Yeah. Yeah, that's very strange.
But as well, I think maybe I'm over analysing it a bit too much, because actually no, I'm not, because generally his interviews aren't very good. He's very good. Pearson is good. I like listening to him. He's very good. He can talk a lot on a lot of stuff. He's very knowledgeable. But he's not great at questioning other people. That's the kind of thing with him, and he seemed what's the word I want to say? Not high, but he seemed just like he was on a mad caffeine buzz, like ADHD kind of buzz. He was hyper and just couldn't keep himself quiet. So maybe he had an off day. with
It's
whatever
kind of,
he's on.
I feel like where he is at the minute is that he's like, obviously he's suffered a trauma or whatever, but it's like trying to come back to work before you're ready when, you know, your kid has died or something, you know what I mean? And you've no idea how to, you're doing an impression of something.
He has no reason to have to do a podcast. Why is he even doing it?
So he doesn't become irrelevant or something. I don't know. I've really no idea. Maybe it's part of his therapy is to keep working or whatever. Anyway, like Jordan Peters.
Yeah, he's nothing to do with this film anyway. Sorry. Yeah. There's loads of people don't like him. I think we're like the last 2 people in the world who actually do have any time for him.
And even now I can't watch him. So there you go.
And who aren't far right fucking rednecks.
Yeah.
Because I'm not. I don't know about you actually. Maybe Tommie. Tommy, are you listening to your man? Who's that Irish fella again? Remember him? The gin guy. Don't bring up his name. Don't bring up his name. Actually, fuck that. Come on, doesn't deserve it.
No.
Back to this film, Tommy.
Yeah. So the beginning of the film is kind of him doing the standard spiritual seeking thing, where I have everything, I have all the stuff, still not fucking happy. I have anxiety. There has to be more to this.
Are you leaving out a bit of trauma though? A little trauma because he
That thing
he lost his girlfriend when he was 16.
LSD. It's like
no. She killed herself after being high on.
He does say
she was high on
LSD.
She was high on LSD, killed herself, and then he fell into a drug binge.
Yeah.
For a good few years. He said at one stage he had done 3 days of coke and flatlined, so died basically. And but then he became after all that stuff, he became vegetarian, and then he becomes this like successful vegan restaurant. Ended up even had a hotel, and that's kind of where I had a bit of an alarm bell ringing with the film, because when I was watching it, I looked it up. He's one of the producers in it.
Yeah,
and so that can mean one or two things. It means either that he's put up the money for it, and if he has restaurants and hotels in New York, I wouldn't be surprised if he's put the money up for it.
Yeah.
Or he's getting a cut of the profit.
Because he's a star kind of thing.
When it's done. So it's one or the other. I don't know.
I would go with he put up the money given how well produced.
I think he put up the money.
Yeah.
That's what it looks like to me. It looks like he put up the money. This looks like his project with the director. So it does.
Yeah, because I was talking to Braxis about it, because I sent it to him, and he was like going, I'd love to see a documentary about someone who's just, working and trying to, you use this thing. And I was going, yeah, but that's YouTube, that's vlogs. And he's going, yeah, it's only when you have money that you get to do these type of documentaries or whatever. And I think so. Given that I think it's. Well, I don't know. Maybe the director's super rich too, but I definitely think.
But because
if it was just the getting a cut of the profits, then he'd be the executive producer, right? Isn't that not how that works?
Well, that's the thing. There's 6 or 8 different producers on this with different titles, and so it's like, and obviously there's tons of money in it because, these speakers don't. I mean, Graham Hancock ain't cheap. There's no fucking way he's cheap. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Spira. Maybe Spira's a bit cheaper, but I mean, Russell Brand, he won't be cheap.
No. You even have to pay for his podcast, for God's sake.
Jeez, worst business decision ever. Fucking luminosity, huh?
Yeah.
Maybe Prem Baba didn't charge that, and he probably just wants some food or something because he's a guru. But
that's it.
Yeah, I don't know.
I was going to say maybe the rest did it for nothing because it'd be silly if they did it. That's not how the universe works. For God's sake.
No, but I mean, you're going to get an appearance. Look, I mean, even when I was budgeting films for grants and stuff like that, you would just say, right, I imagine this person makes 500 to 1,000 euros a day. I want them for a day. That's what I'll pay them. So you're at least making sure that they're not losing any money.
All right, so it's like it would be right. Well, that's way more money now. So Russell Brand's getting thousands for doing this. It's not just like a 200 quid thanks for your hour type thing.
I would presume it's a good few thousand. For an appearance like that. I would presume so, yeah. Right. Hancock, the same. How much does Hancock charge for public speaking?
But
massive.
Joe Rogan's not paying any of them, though, is he? Is he?
Now, that I don't know. And I would like to know.
Surely at this point, people want to be on Joe Rogan more than want to be paid to be on Joe Rogan. There had to be a crossover.
Okay, but if you're someone like, say, Hancock, who's already massive in the area he's big in. Okay, look, my ma doesn't know who he is, and your ma probably doesn't know who he is. But in the field he's well known in, he'd be like, yeah, I don't need promotion. I'm minted. You know, why do you think fucking Kingsley isn't doing any press for the new book? He doesn't need any money. He don't need any money. You've seen his house. It's grand. You know, sound. Fair play. Fair play, good lads.
How does Graham Hancock need money? No one needs money. Money doesn't exist. Just live in the present, Graham. Russell and your feet. Yeah. So it starts off, I suppose, the very first thing is the interview with his dad. And his dad is kind of set up in this. And we were kind of discussing this and we've kind of different opinions. So I don't really know what... I would assume that the documentary is set up to see his dad as being part of the reason why he can't change. Or they're somehow to blame. And then he does say, that thing we've talked about before, we're going, it's very easy to be enlightened or awakened when you're in a monastery, or, you know, I'm in my office and I can be one with the non-dual existence and then I have to deal with life. And I think the dad is the person in the documentary that's meant to play that part of, or represent real life or something. But you got a very different buzz from it then. From what,
I didn't see the dad like that. I think the dad is... Look, like exactly what I just defined enlightenment as there a few minutes ago, as someone who knows themselves, loves themselves, accepts themselves, is themselves. That's the vibe I got from the dad. The dad is just like, yeah, I'm grand.
Yeah, but he doesn't accept his son though. That's the problem. That's the thing.
I get that.
He says it, and he says that, you know, that whole thing of, all right, I'll beat the anxiety at you, and that kind of stuff seems very odd.
But what? Okay, he said something like, I'll beat the anxiety. But out of you, but is that you or the general you? Because I got general you.
No, because your man's talking about, goes that when I come back, I have a lot of it's helped, but I have 10% left of this anxiety. And he says, your choice is I can give you a left hook or a right hook, and I'll beat the anxiety out of you. That remaining 10%.
I didn't mean it though. Do you think he meant it? I didn't think he meant it.
I absolutely think he means it. Yeah, I do.
I didn't.
No, I mean, I don't think he means that I'm going to thump you, but I think he means to, like, just man the fuck up and stop with this bullshit. That's what I think he means.
Yeah, but sometimes people need to be told that.
Yeah, okay. I think, in the sense that, okay, that's what you believe, I don't agree with that. I think that's saying stop having these feelings and just get on with it. Stop. No.
I don't think it's to stop having these feelings. I don't think it's that at all. I think it's you have these feelings. Get on with it.
What's the difference?
Deal with the feelings.
Right.
That's the way I see it.
Yeah. No. Well, yeah, because most people, speaking for most people, because I don't inside it, say man up is to stop having those feelings.
No, that's not man up. That is totally not man up. That's
right. Well, that's the man up I was
out.
No, that was the man up I was
pussying out, man. No, that's not man up. Man up is the four fucking Neoplatonist virtues, man. It's fucking courage, justice. Manning up is fucking righting a wrong.
Okay, right.
You get me?
Yeah. No, I didn't.
That's what I mean.
Right, but that's good. Because I thought you had we're going with the kind of the old school Irish man up stuff.
No, absolutely not. No. I am totally against that approach, because you're just bottling up feelings until you get drunk and have a fight.
Yeah, but that's what I thought you were saying. That was my issue with it. I was kind of going, well, I don't agree with that, and I find that hard to understand why you thought that. But because it's great, because you don't.
No, I don't. No. Man up to me is to be noble, be heroic, be just, be courageous, just do the right thing.
Yeah.
So in that case, that means if you're having bad, anxious feelings, then it means getting to the root of that and fucking and dealing with it.
Right, perfect. Right, we're totally on the same page with that, because the buzz I was getting of the father is not that. It is to stop with that nonsense and get on and just live your life and don't be looking at the stuff and don't be doing any of that kind of idiotic shit you're at.
Yeah. No, I get you. No, I understand because I didn't fully agree with me on my thing for the dad as well. But what kind of sealed it for me is that coming to the end of it, he says something like...
Absolutely. Yeah, he's a different guy by the end of it, because you find out he's into jazz, he was a vegetarian, you know.
Yeah. But he says the thing about the news. He says, look, I gave up reading newspapers and watching the news years ago.
Not a brilliant line, he says.
He said because you can't change the news, but the news will change you. And I'm like, and that's where I got it. This guy's a fucking Hindu cow, man.
He
knows himself, loves himself, accepts himself. He is himself. He is the perfect version of him that he can be as he is there.
Yeah.
You know, that's why I liked him. Yeah, I understand why he could rub people up the wrong way, because he's gruff. He's a bit aggressive in the way he talks, but like, he's a fucking tough New Yorker. That's just the way he is.
I suppose I got one of the things I got for it was that it was like kind of going, imagine that was me as the father. Because I mean, it's funny, like the father documentaries and films are getting closer and closer to my age. It's really ridiculous. You know, the old man. It's like, geez, why is he the same age as me? Why is the old man in this film the same age as me?
There's not even 15 years difference between these two guys or something, isn't there? The dad's really young. Yeah.
Unless he's like 70 and, you know, has brilliant, he has some really great age. But it's kind of going, imagine I was sitting in a diner, or whatever, diner, Jesus Christ, a restaurant or a cafe or whatever, with my son, and it's equivalent, and there's that kind of thing where I can't connect, where I just don't understand what he's trying to do, whatever, and I'd find that very heartbreaking. But I'm sure it's going to happen, because it has to, because that's the nature of generations, that you know, you don't get to understand.
Oh, yeah, of course. Wait till they're teenagers, that's when it's going to happen.
But I suppose, so there's, like, what I'm saying is loads of projection going on here on me, big time, and I'm aware of that. But I also think that within the film or the documentary, I think the dad is to be played as that, because of some of the things he said, that, you know, it's hard to explain to my dad, or it's hard to come back and then talk to my dad. You know, that that's the character, whether he is or not. That's all we can decide for ourselves. Yeah. But I think that is the bit in what he's trying to be played as.
There's another thing about the doc that is dukkha inducing. It's unsatisfactory, right? Because he doesn't really explain. So he has this crippling anxiety, and he goes off to India, and then goes to therapy, and then meets meets Gary Webber, and meets Prem Baba in India, and he does this therapy where he's screaming and crying and stuff.
That's the primal scream stuff, isn't it? Yeah.
You know, obviously it's cathartic and helpful. Of course it is. Go into a room and just scream at the top of your lungs. You feel amazing. You know, But like, not once in the film does he explain where he even thinks this anxiety comes from. And there's a secondary
other than
thing
he
with
says society. There's a
other than this, he has anxiety. Yeah.
That he's blaming society for that culture. Right. There's some.
Yeah. And then you remember at the start I said he had been flatlining cocaine after the suicide of his girlfriend. He was doing LSD at 16. She died. He became like a coke addict, smoking weed all the time as well. But then like one of the last chapters of the film, he's like, right, to go find myself now, I'm going to go take drugs in the Amazon. It's like, you're a fucking idiot, man.
I know,
you're just taking more. All you're doing is taking more drugs. Look, there's no one on the planet who wants to do ayahuasca more than me. There isn't. I'd love to give it a go, because I think I know who I'd run into, and it'd be great to have a chat with her. Yeah. You know, but like, seriously, it's like you have this huge anxiety problem. Hold on. The whole film is him running away from himself.
Sure.
So it is. And the only way for himself to find himself is him closing the circle with doing drugs again, which is what kind of got him into the problem at the first place. Do you know, like, and what like Weber says and what Spira says is that no, the answer is always inside. You have to go in. But he didn't do that. He's like, I'm going to take drugs.
Yeah, and it's interesting because that's what I thought Russell Brand was going to be there about, because obviously Russell Brand isn't a drug addict and, you know, doesn't do it, and would love to take ayahuasca, other than he says, I'm a drug addict, I can't take ayahuasca. And was a thing, and I thought that would have been an interesting conversation. But that also, that the kind of Peru stuff, it felt, I was going, oh, here we go. You know, and it kind of felt like the meeting had, you better go and take ayahuasca because that's what everyone's doing at the minute as well. Yeah. Something, you know.
That's what it felt like to me,
Yeah, it felt kind of, it did where it dipped or something. There was something where I just went, I don't know. Is that
look,
the right thing to do? Nothing against again. Nothing against ayahuasca, psychedelics, any of that stuff.
Here's the thing, right? If the film happened chronologically in real life, you know, which obviously a film never fucking does. But if it did, and he was following the advice of all the sages that he meets along the way in his hero's journey, if he had been following the advice of all the people that had told him what to do, then all he would have had to do was meditate on his anxiety, and he would have found the cure for it, or found a way of dealing with it. But instead, he's just like, yeah, no, I'm going to Peru. I want to take drugs.
Perhaps
for me, it's a bit of a cop out.
Yeah, perhaps. But I know Peru comes at the end, but perhaps it was earlier, and that it then the other stuff. I would like to think
could have been, man.
Yeah,
but
it's not how it's presented. It's definitely one of the last things he does before he comes. We should talk a bit about what the actual idea of what people are talking about.
I know I'm giving out here, but it's still a really good film. And it's definitely worth watching. Yeah. So definitely worth watching.
It's a great film. I really, really, really enjoyed it. Again, like I at points I really felt I understood where he's coming from, the main guy. Other times it's going, I'm not, no, so it's not like like I did see myself in it, but not in that, this is about me. It's not, I didn't feel that. The whole point, I suppose, the whole kind of theory, or the whole kind of idea, if you're watching The Secret, what is it about? It's that you can manifest anything you want by thinking about it. Or if you're watching documentary in Buddhism, it's about, the Four Noble Truths, the thing. This is about essentially Vedanta, which is the non-dual idea, and which is that essentially all is one. Everything is one thing. And why it's not just called all is one is because the non-dual points to something that isn't, whereas all one has a questionable kind of thing.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
And it's this kind of notion
it's not to do with the Musketeers having a trademark on it or anything.
Can you imagine? Yeah. Oh, for one, no.
Doug. No. No, sorry. Disney owned that. No.
Yeah. Can you imagine? That's the reason why you're not. That's it.
Totally imagine it.
And so it's kind of this kind of notion, and it's something that I have issue with in one sense, but I also think it's true. So that's the problem I have in that I this kind of thing is the notion of that all, and there is a Buddhist kind of concept of that your thinking is like a sense, in the same way that hearing, seeing, tasting, touching, and all that, and so that it's not you. It's just something that happens, and it's kind of Daniel Dennett has similar ideas, but he kind of thinks it's epiphenomenal. So it's to not get carried away with thinking that you are your thoughts, and that you are the content of what constitutes your thinking, I suppose. In that if you remove these, there's something that's still there. In the same that if you remove your hand, it doesn't. You'd say it's my hand, but it's not you. It's not who you are. You still exist as whatever it is you exist. And so it's looking at that. And it's that kind of it comes from modernish days. Ramana Maharshi, the I am, you think the self-reflection. Who is this? Who is this person who's having this feeling?
Yeah.
Blah 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 blah. A couple other people, but it's it's ancient in a sense. Not in a sense, it is. And so that you start noticing that there's an awareness that is a constant behind all of the content. And then the more you look at that awareness, is that you realize that it's not located where you think it's located. And it's the same thing that's in me, that's in you, that's over there. It's this kind of ultimate awareness. And so that kind of sense of that is, I suppose, the thing that you're looking for. It has many names. It's like the witness, the watcher, the thing. But that's it's Rupert Spud would say that that is the state, and everything else is a veiling of that. In the sense of that's bliss. And if you want to use all these terrible words, and so suffering is a veiling of bliss. Suffering doesn't exist in itself. Okay. It's the lack of thing. And so then if you go back to the Mentino thing I was on about earlier on, he talks about a thing that's behind that. But that's not part of this film. I can get to that very easily. Not very easy. It took me fucking years, but I can get to the bigger awareness, non-dual kind of thing. And here's my problem: it doesn't help my life in any way.
No, sure.
And the bigger problem with all is content and suffering is content and suffering isn't real and illusion, is all of that spiritual bypassing problem that we have. That then, you know, it's like your suffering isn't real, you know, in the bad sense of just, you know, man up in a sense that I hate all that expression, but
yeah.
And you know, it's not real. It's just, let's, you know, just ignore it. Let's discount it. Let's disgrade it. Let's disgrade all the suffering in the world because it's an illusion. It's Maya. All of that thing. Now, I also think it's true, but I don't think you can dismiss this kind of stuff. I don't think it's helpful. I don't think it's compassionate. I don't think it's nice. I don't think it helps anyone, and I don't think having that kind of. But I don't know what the answer is because I also think it's true.
No. Yeah. I get you. No, who was I watching about this? They were talking about it, and they were saying that, look, the answer to that is true. It's true compassion for others and helping people with their suffering. That's how we help there. Okay, now that doesn't help. Jesus Christ, I saw something the other night about some subreddit, this really great photo of something just horrible. There was a terrible accident in Poland, and a fireman was kind of looking at the camera, and he was holding a 3-year-old, and there was an ambulance paramedic and another fireman beside him. It looked like one of those accidental Renaissance things, you know.
Oh, right, yeah.
But then you read the story of what happened, and like she was the only survivor of this horrible drunk driver crash. And I was just, the blood drained from my face, just got me so badly. You know me, I'm fairly good with my emotions, but I was in bits just from a photo. From a photo, in pieces. So I was. I've started now as if I actually prayed for them. I don't pray.
Yeah.
You know, how weird is that? You know, but like that doesn't help in that situation. You know what I mean? Like, people are dead. This poor girl's going to grow up without her mum and dad, and her brothers and sisters, I think, died in it as well. This drunk driver's going to end up in. It's just a fucking mess. The whole thing. It's horrible. And like, what are you going to do? You're going to be like, suffering is an illusion. Go fuck yourself. That's not the way to handle it.
No.
So, but this, I think it was a Buddhist nun, she was talking about the way that the only thing you can do there is just give as much love and help and compassion as you can to the people involved in this, just to try and lessen their suffering. Do you know? So that's the way. So it's kind of like the only way to, the short answer then, the only way to lessen suffering in the world is to try and help each other as much as we can, and try and help the people who are less fortunate.
Yeah.
Do you know?
Yeah, it's like, it's something I grasp or unable to grasp with the suffering at times. Like, absolutely unable to deal with it at all. Like, I mean, in the same way, like, I've had many moments of similar things that, and I think this movie doesn't do it. I have to say, it doesn't. I think just kind of dismissing it as all, which is a huge thing in the new age, man. It really is. Is I think it's disgusting. Like, and I think it's like,
me too, man.
Yeah, it's like it's disgusting even if it's totally true. Which, I mean, it's true, but not in the way that you think that, or not you. You know, that's true.
But like. Okay, so everything is an illusion, suffering is an illusion. Okay, I agree with it. It is an illusion, but at the same time, when you're in the thick of it, it's very real. You know.
Well, it is real. So, you know, and it means absolutely real. It's the only thing.
So okay, no. Look, the way true things is to transcend them, kind of thing, and see them for what they are. Yeah, cool. Do that. That's great. But a lot of people don't know how to do that.
Yeah.
You know. So it's the job of the people who do know how to do that to show the other people.
Yeah, and I suppose it's context as well, or timing, in that don't start talking to the kid who's just lost everything about non-duality and the big awareness.
No, of course.
It's like, you know, maybe just hold her for a while, hug her.
Yeah, of course.
So it gets to the because that's his kind of thing. James is kind of going, he's talking to, and I think the big turning point is with that interview with Gary Webber, where they're sitting opposite the table, and I think that kind of is the point where something clicks with James, and it's not that. I think that's the best interview. Is that one that overall?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, it is. Yeah.
And he's just kind of there's a point where I think not that Gary loses patience with James, but there's a point where he's just going, right, okay, we're gonna have. I'm going to have to do this. And he starts, he's saying, well, and I get him, who is James? What is this thing? What are you doing? What is this? And you can see that James getting a bit of kind of exasperated, but there's a point where he just goes, right. He just, okay. Right, okay, I'm going to finally accept what this is, what you're saying. And he's saying that's, again, the same thing. He says to say, not Baba, what's his name? It's like Prem Baba. We just go suffering his illusion and as we were mentioned earlier on, Gary Webber goes, the person who thinks he's suffering is the illusion.
Exactly.
Yeah. And that's it. And I mean, I know that, and I can see it, or whatever. But it's again, it's what I mean. It doesn't help me in my life in that moment of something happening or whatever, and you can be mindful of it, and you can be all of this, and you can be aware of what it is, or whatever, and all that. But it's still, being that I am a human, I still have. I get you.
The
suffering.
It's this thing of I give me the name of it yesterday. Mirror neurons. Yeah.
Okay.
And she was explaining that none of my family listens to this, so I can tell you. So over the last couple of weeks,
me in any way. So
no. Over the last couple of weeks, a family member has been ringing me, and I'm basically the punch bag of their problems. All right.
Okay.
I'm fairly good at that. I've got big ears, I can listen, but sometimes it gets a little bit too much, But this thing of the mirror neurons is a fascinating idea, because it's so I would have grown up around that person a lot, and their moods, how to explain this, their reactions I would have seen as a child, and I learned to react in a similar way, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
But then as you get older, you see, no, that's not the way you're supposed to deal with stuff. Mm. But still, that mirror neuron is there. So when that person reacts in that way, your natural reaction is still there.
Yeah.
But you're stomping it down because you know better. So that's another thing to be aware of. Is that
that's kind of Rhodes and Magia, isn't it? Like it's that, or
exactly that. I think he can be fucking. I think he can be the Dalai Lama. Happy birthday, by the way. I know you listen. And,
big fan.
Big love.
Big
love.
Yeah,
big love to the big man.
He's on my Patreon. He only gives me $1 though. It's very strange.
He'll still lose his temper, and he'll still go back to that base 5-year-old.
But that was the thing in that Buddha documentary when we were saying when he found out that whatever his family or his wife or whoever it was that his kin had been killed, or he says he received it in silence, and the point was that even Buddha has a bad day because you're fucking human, and that's it.
Exactly. You're not going to. I don't think you can. You're not. That's never going to go away. It's just seeing it.
Yeah.
That's the transcendenceness of it. Is just seeing it. I mean, because I didn't know this for ages, and it was the first question I asked fucking Duncan on Liber Spud. I'm like, am I still going to like football? I understand. He's because that's still in you. That's still there. You're not going to lose that. That's the. And then my kind of understanding of it now is that okay, that's the thing that came down and incarnated into this for the purpose of. Yeah, I'm going to football is going to be one of the things the Spud's going to enjoy, kind of thing, or whatever. Just in that example, So,
well, that is the stuff, isn't it? And it's talked about in to bring Magia up again. That whole sense of the fear of annihilation, that stops people from awakening. And Benito talks about it in that lecture series. I'll link people as well, where he's thinking that he says. Nothing's taken away from you, although it all is. But in that it's you're still the same person. You're still as funny. You still have the same interests. You still have the same thing. None of that's taken away. If anything, you become funnier. You become smarter. You get better able to deal with things and that kind of stuff. But it is a fear that you won't be yourself, because that's kind of I suppose what the implication is by the analogies or the metaphors that we use, in that it's a dream, right? So when you wake up, you stop being the thing that you are in the dream. And so that if we're being told, oh, this is a dream, and you have to wake up, then you stop being the thing that you were in the dream, and the point is, no, you don't.
It's exactly the thing that he's going through in the film. It's this sense that he has control.
Yeah.
And most people in their lives, they do have quite a lot of control. I control when I get up, I control what I eat, I control going to the gym. Not that I've ever been to a fucking gym. Control, which friends I meet on which days.
Or at least you're trying to. Your aim is to do that, because we're probably not successful in that.
Okay, so you have a sense of it.
Yeah, the kind of thing that I would thing is, if you've ever taken any kind of drug, I'm sure no one has, because they're all illegal.
No, I don't know. What is this drug you speak of?
And there's a kind of, particularly with a psychedelic, where there's a moment where you have to just relinquish control, or you're going to have a bad and in a sense, that's where James is until that moment. And I don't think it's resolved by the end of it. I don't think he's solved by the end of it, even though the synopsis says that he kind of finds the answer. I don't think he finds the answer. I think he finds the root. I don't think he finds the answer. But I think that kind of sense of where I am at the minute is that point where I'm still trying to no, I'm going to control the psychedelic experience.
Sure.
I don't think that has to go.
Like, yourself, that's from that's your biases that you learned, and also the what do you call it, the conditions you've had put on you.
And the fear of annihilation as well.
So you're three things there, and the second one there, that's something you don't have you had no control over, because that's learned responses you've seen from other people. And also, if you want to get mad woo on it, that's karmic stuff, if you choose to believe that as well.
Yeah. Well, it's karmic stuff anyway, because it's something that came out of
but the ancestor stuff is what I mean.
The big karmic.
That's what I'm talking about.
It's also the knowledge, and I had the revelation about it, because I noticed I have a video of me talking about it, where realizing that you're not more than a collection of other people, or other things or whatever, which is part of the content. It's the awareness, realizing, and I know that. I know that. I don't know what is the. I don't know. It's that thing. What am I waiting for? What am I waiting for? What am I hanging on here for?
You're waiting to get out of your own way. That's all it is.
That is, and it is. Yeah, I know.
To use that stupid fucking metaphor, it is. You're waiting to get out of your way because you're not there yet.
Yeah.
What's the thing? Alan Watts' thing about the door? You walk through the door and then you turn around and realize it wasn't there. You're like, fuck's sake. Yeah. Could have saved fucking 10 years of my life, if I knew it wasn't fucking there.
Yeah. Well, that's Rupert Spire stuff. It's constant thing. Is stop looking for or enlightenment, awakening, or whatever it is. He doesn't like the word awakening, I don't think, because you are it. You're already it. That's the problem, is you're looking for it. And it's that's the Buddhist thing as well. Oh, we're all enlightened. But I understand that too, because I also know that the awakening experiences I have had are stuff that I already know, that I just wasn't letting myself think or allow.
Sure.
Yeah. So it's not like. Because I often thought for years that awakening was going to be some sort of revelationary thing, and that some new knowledge. And from what I know of it, from my experience of it, it's the test of fate. That thing. It's like we go, are you able to believe the thing that you know is true, but you've decided isn't because other people or circumstances have told you isn't true? And you're like, that's it. I already know this. And all the cliches, you go, you already know that. And then you go, oh shit, I already know this.
Fuck's sake. Hi, yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Spud, you dickhead. How did you not know that?
I didn't know that. I knew that when I was 4. 4-year-old Spud knew that. So I think the kind of where I am in my journey, I suppose, whatever, and I think it's the equivalent of where James was at that point, is the coming up on a psychedelic and trying to control it. That's exactly, and that's the but
that doesn't lead to a good place, like.
It leads to the opposite of a good place. It leads to where I am, which is a terrible fucking place, but relatively.
Do you know? I don't know. I mean, it's very hard when you have the responsibilities of running your own business, being a freelancer, having the kid, wife. I know you have a school in your house and all that kind of stuff. Yeah. But the thing that really helped me with the learning to surrender to control was going off and working with the father-in-law that particular time. It was around the time the Magia yearly stuff was out.
The anniversary stuff, is it?
The anniversary stuff was out. Yeah, someone had put me onto them. Maybe they had already been done or something. And someone sent me them. Who wasn't you? Who was it? It didn't matter. And
I know who it was, but I won't say his name.
It was this thing. It was this thing of the surrender thing had been coming up a lot in divination and all that kind of stuff. And I just went, right, I'm not doing anything. I'm not deciding. I'm not making any decisions for the 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And it was perfect because you just let the thing. But you can't do that when you have a 3-year-old.
Well, and also you can't do that when one of your maladaptive things towards your life is that you give supernatural agency to something that doesn't have it. And so, so my problem, so, and also that I felt I had no say or control in life for so long, and kind of get to the point where, right, I have, and go, oh, now I have to give it away again, do I? Ah, great, awesome. That's fabulous. Thanks very much for that. I just got it, No,
but maybe there's a way of doing it in small steps, like, God, I don't know.
Well, the Rupert Spire.
No. For example, right? You eat breakfast every day. Are you still doing your 1 meal a day?
I haven't had breakfast in years.
So. Damn it. Okay. Because I was going to say, just open the press and say to the young lad, right, what am I having for breakfast? Let him do stuff like that. That takes it out of your hands. That's surrender and control. Just little things like that, and then they're building up till eventually you're going to have to come and work with Spud in September on the house that we're building, and you're going to have no decisions at all.
Well, you see, the problem was I did totally surrender to that, and that went wrong. That didn't end in the place because it was surrendering to the shadow stuff, and it was that to them, all of that. So I spent my entire life doing that and allowing that things we were talking about before, thinking every incident that ever happened to me was an interaction with that, and that everything that bad was happened was a punishment, anything good was a reward, and you were allowed this or you weren't allowed that, and all of that. And it's kind of realizing, what the fuck am I at, and coming out of that and going, geez, that's bizarre. To then try and do that again, you kind of go, but maybe not. So that's the kind of. But I mean, it's like, I understand it, and I think I can surrender in different ways in the kind of, I suppose, like the beloved kind of meditation from Magia, or the meditation that Rupert Spire talks about. Is it him or Benito? One of them, where it's you just sit there and all of that stuff, all of the content, you just go, you deal with it for a while, just for a moment, let it go. And I can do that. So, I mean, I think that's good enough for now in that. But I think when I start allowing to take signs from my day-to-day experiences as direct inspiration or communication with God, I think that gets me in bad places. And because my God hates me.
I get you. No, because it's good to be a bit existentialist with it and just say, no, you can say, does that have meaning? Yes or no?
Yeah.
And you kind of have, and I know it's a bit easier for me to be black and white about it because I'm more of a black and white type of person anyway. Do you know what I mean? You're an artist. You see all the colours.
You're an arsehole.
You're like the opposite of those horses, because the horses freaked out when they saw them.
I'm down on
more
the
colours.
Oh, look at all the colours.
You're the shrimp that sees 64,000 vision or whatever the fuck it is. Look up those shrimps, because the guy, who's that cartoonist with the cat? Not Garfield. The other one who did the slightly offensive comics and stuff. What the fuck is his name? He was massive famous.
Robert Crumb?
He has these... might be. And he had a video about this... what is it? A hermit? Not a hermit crab. God damn it, that's killing me now, that fucking thing. People are screaming. Actually, nobody is screaming into their microphones.
It's a torch.
Spud, what the fuck is wrong with Spud with this obsession with this weird fucking shrimp? I don't know. Mantis shrimp. There we are. Look up mantis shrimp. It's mad. Yeah, man. Be nice to yourself.
Be cool, man. Just be cool. I'm going to give this documentary 9 out of 10. 9 Spuds out of 10 Spuds. And
I mean, I don't want to knock too much off it because it's so fucking well made, and the cast is amazing. So many fucking great people, and if you don't know them, it's a bit like when we watch those perennial videos.
Yeah. I don't know any of these people.
It just opens your world to like. There's loads more. There's loads of experts in this field that I don't know.
Well, I didn't know Gary Webber at all, so that's brilliant. There's a train I can definitely fall down. The point I'm taking off is just because I think I don't think it resolves in, which I don't think it can.
Do you know what? Do you know what it is? It shows it packages itself as revealing a truth. It's just revealing a glimmer of it. Is the way I'd put it.
Or it's packaging something as this is going to solve your problems when that's not what it's about. In a sense, he's looking at the sun from and say, by looking into nature of the world, of reality, and he finds nature reality, but you're probably still going to have anxiety because that's being human or something. I don't know.
Exactly.
Yeah. But great, brilliant. One of the best documentaries I've seen for all those reasons.
And if anyone does want to send ayahuasca to the lads, Tommie will be available. To give the address on his DMs. No, actually, not on your DMs. What are you going to do? Just ring him. Here's his phone number. Come on. Oh, wait.
Yeah. You can buy ayahuasca online. It's not hard to get. But
but you don't want to do it on your own, though. No. God, Jesus. Even smoking a joint on your own is bad enough because you get paranoid.
It's awful.
Jesus Christ. Yeah. It is awful, yeah.
Awful.
Unless you're just in a dark room and listening to Pink Floyd or some post-rock, you're fine. But, like, if there's anything moving in the room, you're like, ah!
or you've had one bad thought in the last 6 years. Just give up, man.
Yeah, what the fuck is wrong with you? As you get older, it's just like God's way of saying, you're not supposed to be stoners anymore, lads. You're just not supposed to,
I don't know. It's a life. Huh? Huh? What about? What's all that about? What's all that about?
Right, let's get out of here. Bye everyone.